Do you know what? I never once, and it sounds mad because some people like that side of it. I never once did a crime and thought I want to do this.
Okay.
Not once. I never thought it was glamorous. I never thought I wanted to tell people about it. I always thought I did it because I had to do it. Does that make sense? I never once thought it was like a cool thing to do. Or so in my head from the start, from me without even thinking about it, because I never thought about it. It'll always be like, I'm doing it because I have to do it. Do you know what I mean? So there was always going to be a transition for me. I was never going to be doing rogue stuff forever. It'll always be, I'm doing this until I don't have to do it.
Bismillah. Jazakumullah khair, Dan, for coming through, bro.
No problem, brother.
Appreciate it. And get straight to it, bro. What's your company about?
Secret Garden, we're jewelers in Hatton Garden.
Okay.
We sell watches, make jewelry, sell jewelry,
Okay.
do all that.
I see like a lot of superstars come to you.
Yeah.
Why are they choosing you?
I don't know. It's just, I think we offer like an authentic service. Do you know what I mean? Like certain jewelers, they're attracted to rappers and things like that because they're rappers. But we don't do that. We don't reach out to rappers and say like, do you want to come and shop with us? People just come to us for us.
Okay. And is this like years of building that you've made it into like how it is now? Or...
Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, yes.
How come you chose that out of everything else though?
It just happened. I didn't choose it really.
Okay.
Yeah,
How come?
I fell into it. Literally fell into it. There's a fellow who had a gold shop in Sydenham just around the corner. He ended up doing a little bit of work with him. Middleman in a few things, selling him a few things. And then he was moving a shop from Sydenham to Bromley. And he said to me, look, I need a bit of money. Do you want to put some money into it and help me with the shop? I said, yeah, of course. That was about 12 years ago now, maybe a little 15 years ago.
12 years ago. So you've been running this for 12 years?
On and off.
Okay.
On and off. Yeah.
But now it's like a fully run business.
Yeah, full time.
Okay. So talk to me about your past then. Obviously, I know you through Islam, alhamdulillah. But prior to that, what's your history like? You're born here, raised here, you come here?
Yeah, born over the road, Lewisham Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, went to school in Lewisham, went Mallory School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mallory School's a bad school.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, it was a good school, but yeah, I went Mallory.
Yeah.
Left school at 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bit early.
Yeah, I got expelled.
Okay.
Yeah, I got kicked out of school at 14.
Okay.
I was a bad kid, naughty kid, one of them little nuisance kids.
Okay.
Holes in his trainers, running around, climbing trees.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
did all sorts of nonsense.
What was the family background or mum and pops?
Mum.
Okay.
Yeah, mum. Got a stepdad come along a few years later.
Cool.
Yeah, 5 brothers and sisters.
5 brothers and sisters?
Yeah, so I got 4 brothers, 1 sister.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
thinking like 5.
Yeah.
Okay. How was life in the sense of, what was your background? Would you say is from the angle of poverty? Would you say middle class? Would you say an upbringing that was kind of easy or hard?
I wouldn't say it's hard because at the time you don't realise it's hard. But looking back, it would. Do you know what when people say they come from a hard background? When you live in it, you don't really see it as a hard background. Of course. But people would describe it as hard background. It was like there wasn't food in the fridge all the time, things like that. Do you know what I mean? It was like there was always alcohol in the house, but it was never always food in the house. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
like working class, basically, you're saying?
Yeah, working class. I don't really know. My mum didn't work; she was on benefits, so they weren't really working class. It was benefit class.
Okay.
So yeah, grew up on benefits.
Okay. And in the sense of school-wise, you said you got kicked out, but was that based on the naughtiness, or you just didn't like school, learning, anything?
I was born a naughty kid. But honestly, I was born a naughty kid. If you could bring me mum now, she'd tell you in year 4, I think I was in. I nicked cigarettes. I got caught smoking in school. That's not normal. Do you know what I mean? My kid's in year 4 now, my little boy. I could never imagine doing stuff.
But would that be based on things you saw though? Because I can't see myself nicking unless I saw nicking.
Nah, that's why I feel like I was born a little bit naughty.
Okay.
Because like I can remember going, it sounds really bad, especially as this is an Islamic podcast, but I can remember saying to the teacher, Miss, can I go to the toilet just to steal a bit of chocolate out of someone else's packed lunch? Because I never had
So you knew your plot?
Yeah. Yeah, I was a bad kid. Yeah. We edit this out. Why am I even talking about this?
And that's year 4?
Younger than that, probably year 2. Probably reception I used to try and nick out people's packed.
You know what, to be fair, actually, I did when I was in year 3 or 4, I stole some Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But then that was like the thing. And it come from the background of I knew my dad wouldn't buy it for me.
Yeah.
So it was like, the only way I'm gonna see it is let me steal it out of someone's pocket.
Yeah.
Was that kind of your kind of thing as well? Like, you know what, there's no real money.
It was like, I never had any chocolate bars. We never had a sweet cupboard at home. Do you know what I mean? These kids were coming in, they'd pack lunch boxes, they had the crisp little fruit
the little
bars.
£2 at the end of school that they can buy some
100%.
bits.
Yeah, we never got any of that.
Okay.
So
You didn't watch Oliver Twist now?
no, no, I can have some more, sir.
Are you the oldest of your siblings?
No,
Or?
I'm right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, older brother, older sister, and 2 younger brothers.
Their impact on you in terms of, okay, you're doing this in year 4. What advice did they give you? What kind of like,
I think we was all bad kids, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I think we was all bad kids. Like my brother, he's a very good man now. He's a family man. But he growing up, he was up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Would you say it's the environment as well though? Because if I go back a little bit, I would say, you know what, there was some people where I lived as well. It seems like the whole house and their cousins, it seemed like everyone was doing it.
Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, it was like we were bad. I feel not apart from the smoking situation, we were bad because, like you said, we had to be. We didn't have the chocolate bars, so we wanted the chocolate bars. Even though that's kind of like justifying it or making an excuse, but we wasn't bad as in disrespectful. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd still help an old lady cross the road,
Of course.
which I used to do as a kid. Do you know what I mean? But we wasn't.
So the moral side was there in essence.
Yeah, good morals, but still naughty.
I get what you mean. But even Islamically, to be fair, isn't there like a ruling with regards to if you do steal out of necessity, maybe the same ruling isn't there for someone.
I didn't need a penguin. I wanted a penguin. You know what I mean? So let's that be justified.
Other about chocolate bars there, though.
Yeah, if it was bread because I was starving,
okay,
then Islamically I'll assume that'd be okay. But
you saying it was a bit more?
It was more like
I wanted rather than I needed.
Yeah, I didn't need a penguin. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I might have wanted one.
Yeah.
It was chocolate and it was.
But you wasn't gonna starve to death.
No, I wasn't gonna starve to death. No, we had school dinners and things like that.
What about the area? Do you think the area had an impact when you grew up? That people in the area were doing some negative stuff?
Yeah, possibly. I grew up in Grove Park in Chimbrook.
Okay.
So yeah, it's also family upbringing, isn't it? So like I didn't have a lot of rules as a kid. So like my mum would half think certain things were okay. Do you know what I mean? So if I come home, I didn't. But if I come home and said to me, Mum, look, I stole a chocolate bar today, she wouldn't punish me. She would be like, oi. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit like a
naughty fella or
yeah,
little.
Exactly that.
But in terms of, you mentioned like stepdad came in. So was dad not around at all?
No, dad wasn't around at all, no.
Do you think that was a reason to not get kind of like, moms are generally softer, dads are sometimes a bit more stricter.
Yeah.
Maybe you would have said, look, what you doing? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, possibly. And my mum kind of like, I want to say condoned it a little bit. Because like, even growing up into my teenage years, like she'd get a bit of a buzz off it. And
okay, just you or even the rest of the siblings?
No, it's just me, I think. Because I can remember like, I can't remember my brother or my sister ever getting into a situation where she would be like, it's only him. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. You've got a close bond with your mum?
Yeah, very.
Okay. No.
So moving forward, you're in, I'm guessing Mallory Secondary School though?
Yeah, Mallory Secondary School, yeah.
Before that, then the school?
Yeah, I went Marvel's Lane in Chimbrook. Okay. And then in year 5, I moved to Rangefield Primary School.
Okay, so they kicked you out from that one and then you went...
Yeah, and I didn't get kicked out of primary school, we just moved.
Okay.
We moved from Chimbrook to Downham, got a place in Downham.
Okay. And then from that you went to secondary. But you said Mallory was good, but you meant good as in fun.
Yeah, it wasn't good
academically and
nah,
beef-wise and all of that.
Nah.
So how was
funny
that?
Story, a guy is in the mosque, he goes, look, school was bad.
Mallory.
Yeah, so give me an example. He goes, yeah, you know what, one day a student came in, covered someone with his blazer, took his blazer off, covered a person, and all the students rushed the guy and beat him up. So I said...
Not as a joke, as real.
Joke, but yeah, they actually beating up the person. So I said, what did the teacher do? He goes, it was a teacher.
They covered him up?
Yes.
Mental.
The teacher done it.
Yeah.
Was it that bad? I knew it was bad.
Yeah, man, it was a bad school.
But it wasn't.
It was like, do you know what it was like? It was like training camp. It was a mad era my year at school, because it was like, Downham's a bit of a funny place, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know much about Downham. Like when I was a kid, it was like just coming out of like the racist stages.
Okay.
So people's mums would still be a little bit racist.
Yeah.
So the white kids, there weren't a lot of white kids in the school, but the white kids' mums would be a little bit racist. So the white kids were a little bit racist. Yeah. And then like there was black kids, and then the Albanian kids first come over them times. So it was like at one stage there'd be like white kids and black kids fighting. Then the next stage it'd be white kids and Albanians, and it'd be like mixing around all the time.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So like groups will actually face other groups.
Yeah, literally.
There wasn't an intermixing of groups fighting.
Well, yeah, a bit, because I used to have black kids in school, so I wouldn't see the side of that's more like my brother's generation, be like the white kids and the black kids and things like that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. I knew it did split up like that. Even there was a lot of Somalian kids that started coming there. I knew that. There was a lot of obviously African kids coming there.
Yeah.
And then I knew obviously the Albanians. So I heard there was a lot of interracial problems happening in school.
Yeah, in school, in the classroom.
Like,
remember one guy, some African guy, Magna, I think his name was. When he come over, this geezer must have been 25 years old. Come into my class, and obviously I was a bad kid. I thought I'd antagonise him. This geezer got up and he switched on me. I run so fast. He must have chased me around the whole school.
But you can say he was a big man.
I was scared from the big man had a beard.
Yeah, there was a lot of ringers in that school.
Yeah, So even I was a skinny little white kid. I started puberty late, and that I was a skinny kid. I was always one of the smallest in my year.
Okay, but you were still naughty.
Yeah, I was a naughty kid.
Enough that you got kicked out.
Yeah, I got kicked out. Yeah.
And then I'm guessing you went to what they send you to centre and all that.
They tried to send me Catford Centre, but again, I didn't really have much of a what's the word I'm looking
for?
for?
Guidance,
support.
No, like, do you know when you get told off? What's that called?
Discipline.
Discipline. I didn't have no discipline, so I didn't get told you have to go to centre every day by my mum and my stepdad. It was just like kind of did my own thing really.
So you just went whenever you liked.
Yeah, I was literally out. I used to go out playing in the parks and things like that.
Okay.
And that was age of 14 now.
From the age of 14.
So you were what, year 9? You left in year 9?
Year 9, yeah.
You got kicked out in year 9?
Year 9, I got kicked out, yeah.
Okay, and then from the centre, what was happening? You're on the streets, you're in the park, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Floating around, just,
work-wise, apprenticeship-wise, working with someone, nothing?
Nothing, no.
Yeah, nothing. I'm shocked. He's like, what was you doing?
No, I was literally
He's trying to keep a calm face.
People used to call us street rats. Okay. You don't really get street rats no more, do you?
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, if you hanged around on the street, you was known as a street rat.
Yeah.
So
in our area, they used to call them Deptford rats. I'm from Deptford. So anyone that used to just hang around from the morning until nighttime, midnight, they're still in the same place. We call them rats.
8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Just out on the road.
Kids, no school, nothing.
Climbing trees, doing nonsense.
But then I'm guessing slowly that obviously ended up being naughty. As in, like, now we're talking policing, because that's how it always starts. It always starts with you're just out on the streets doing nothing, and then slowly maybe some eggs being thrown here, whatever. Then it goes into criminality. So was that the path that kind of happened for you? Then I'm guessing.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to go into that, or you don't feel comfortable speaking about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in trouble with the police.
And was that early, 14, 15 we're talking?
Yeah, I first got arrested when I was about 13, I think. Yeah, that's with Pokemon cards. Funny you said that.
Did you?
Yeah, stealing
Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards.
Pokemon at a co-op. I used to go in there. This is how reckless I was. Instead of just stealing 1 or 2, I'd try and grab a box.
The whole box with the silver ones in there.
Car grabbed me, got nicked.
Okay. Yeah. So shoplifting, I'm guessing, was the first one.
Cried my eyes out like a little girl. I thought I was never going home again. Catford police station. I was scared.
And then what happened? Mum picked you up?
Yeah, Mum picked me up.
Didn't she give you like a stickage or nah?
No, nothing at all.
Okay.
Don't get caught, I got told.
Yeah. That's what she said?
Yeah.
Wow, you had it easy, man.
Yeah, very, yeah.
And then I'm guessing because there was no repercussions in a sense of no beatings. Like for me, when I first got arrested, I was more scared of my dad. That bus ride home, I'm predicting everything that's going to happen when I get home. Like it was so quiet. When I'm saying the bus ride home was so quiet, like I'm sure everyone can feel how tense it was. And I had a friend of mine. So when I first got arrested, I was in year 9.
Yeah.
And I went to school with a motorbike, like a speed fighter back in the day, stolen.
Yeah.
Went to school thinking I'm a boss. Took it into school, parked it up. Lunchtime, took it out, went on a ride, got arrested. My friend, if I want to mention your name, but he knows he's watching this. He's going to laugh because he got arrested. We both got arrested. He started crying. He's like, I'm dead. Yeah. My mom's going to kill me. Yeah. Actually got arrested. Dad's come to the police station. And my dad, like, I don't know, he's got red eyes, bro. Like, naturally. He works nighttime. He came there, tired. Looked at me, goes, just come home, let's talk. Sat on a bus, got all the way home. And obviously the rest is history if you come from an African household, you know what I'm trying to say? So for me, I'm more scared of that.
Yeah.
So whenever I was doing road, the consciousness of beatings was in the back of my mind. So I'll be conscious of what so-called crimes I would do. But for you, I'm guessing it was just...
The odd occasion my mum did try to switch on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be laughing, running off from her.
Of course.
It weren't like
it's not like a proper beating.
I wasn't beating, no.
So there was no repercussions in that sense?
Nothing really.
Okay. No uncles, no one got involved?
No.
What about the stepdad now? Is he on the scene?
Yeah, stepdad was about, but he was like, I don't know where he feel like he couldn't punish me maybe, but his punishment was like, just go to your bedroom. So I remember I went for a little stage of just having to sit in my bedroom, like jail for
Quiet room.
like 3 months. Yeah, it's just in the room.
Okay.
Yeah, apart from that.
And then moving past that, then obviously you're in your teens. How long did this so-called phase of streets, wherever, last for? Bearing in mind you said 13, right?
13, yeah. I mean,
23, 24,
maybe
5.
maybe 25.
So,
So from 14 to 25, I think I've done 6 years in prison.
okay.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
like,
half of the time, basically.
yeah, literally. So the only 2 sentences though. So I've done 4 years on one sentence and 2.5 years or something on the first sentence.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time was just in and out.
In and out. No, just the 2 sentences. So I didn't get in and out. It was just literally
One sentence come out.
one sentence. It was like 2.5 years. I've done like 19 months out of it. Or saying come out. I was out for 3 years and then I served 4 years.
Straight.
Yeah.
No early.
No, I was out for a month and I got a recall. So I was 3 years straight, out for a month and then recalled for a year.
And what was that in terms of, was it robberies? Was it?
That was firearms.
Firearms, okay.
Yeah, so firearms, yeah.
Okay, so you got a bit naughty then.
Yeah.
And then for the age of 24, 25, what made you then say, you know what, I'm leaving?
So do you know what?
Or was it like
I
a
think it
slow...
I educated myself in prison.
Okay.
I was uneducated and I was just this kid running around doing whatever. But then when I got it was like, it was 6 years in totality, but the sentence I actually got given was like 16 years. It was like 6 years and 4 years.
Concurrence.
All concurrent. So like during that sentence is when I actually read and I educated myself. And yeah, that's when I feel like my whole mindset changed.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
What type of books are we talking about?
I mean, I first read the Quran when I was in jail.
Never.
Yeah, I first read the Quran, and I think I told you this before.
Yeah.
I first read it to find problems in it, because I was from the generation. Do you know, like there was a lot of people that was reverting.
What year are we talking? 07, 06?
I think it was like 08. I think it was.
Okay, yeah.
08, and it was like it might have been 06. It might have been, but I feel like it's
around the 06s, 07s, probably pushing to 08, but a lot of it was 07, 06,
Yeah.
05. There was
Yeah.
a lot of people becoming Muslim.
Yeah.
And people were saying people are pushing them to Islam.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing
and that's why I read it. So
Okay.
I read it like I remember I was actually down the block at the time.
Okay.
So I thought this is what I'm reading.
Best time.
Yeah, and then so a few of my pals reverted, and I was like, I grew up Christian,
Okay.
so I'm angry at them. I'm thinking, what you lot doing? You lot are just jumping on this bandwagon, blah blah. And I read it, and subhanAllah, it's like when you're reading it, even now, see when I go back to the Quran, I read the Quran, it shocks me. I'm like, I read saying, and it's like even I've read it before, it hits me slightly differently. Do you know what I mean? And then when I was in the cell that time reading it, to find problems, it was like wow.
Can't find nothing.
Yeah, but I just shut up. I didn't say nothing. So yeah, I literally just.
But how did they give you they didn't know you was Muslim?
No, they didn't know I was Muslim. No, I think I must have got off one of the boys on the wing or something,
Okay.
or I might have got it on the trolley because I was down the block at the time, so they bring a trolley round, didn't they?
Yeah.
So there was probably one on the trolley.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you read it, but you didn't
No.
reveal to
So-
others your feelings.
Yeah. So say like my pal Oliver, Dole, you see him on the Secret Garden. He reverted back then.
Okay.
So and this was me saying, Dole, you're a jumping bandwagons and all that stuff. So see, after I read it, we'll have conversations, but it was like I had conversation from knowledge then.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So from before it was like, I don't believe you, I don't believe you. It changed to, oh yeah, this and that. Do you know what I mean?
Because you're clued up now to certain things.
To a certain extent, yeah.
And you're trying to trip him up.
Not trip him up, because the moment I read it, I couldn't find no fault in it. So it weren't like I was trying to trip him up and say, this is wrong, because for me, there was no wrong from the first time I read it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So it was like more to the point of we can hold a conversation about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like an adult conversation.
Exactly that. Yeah. So before I'd be like, but the Bible says, I was still going to church these days.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, still going to church. Even after I read the Quran,
You're still
in
going
jail, every week, every Sunday, you'll see me singing my heart out, clapping my hands. You know what I mean?
But do you think, I mean, look, did they also say at that time they felt, boy, this guy's never going to become a Muslim? And he's like anti-Islam,
Yeah.
Ollie and also Sam?
I think that Ollie and Ped would have, I don't think that, they knew I wasn't anti because the
Okay.
conversation changed. So I was anti before already.
Okay, before.
But then after, I don't think they would have said I was anti because sometimes I might come up with something and I'll be a bit shocked, like, oh, I didn't know that. How do you know that? Do you know what I mean? Because I was always drawn back to it. Do you know what I mean? So even though I was still going to church and doing things like that, I'd always like try and get a little bit of knowledge about
But is this in prison or on road?
both. So prison first of all, and then because I think when I first went to jail, on that sentence, 15 of us or something got sentenced, all for different crimes,
Okay.
but we was all in jail for different things, and I think half of us reverted back then.
Half.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah.
That's crazy.
There was something that you mentioned, I think, in the past where that time period, your interaction with, let's say, because you knew Muslims from different areas,
Yeah.
not just from South London,
Yeah.
or not just from Lewisham, but from other parts of London, you felt that they gave you negative vibes,
Yes.
or maybe a misrepresentation of Islam. Is
100%.
that correct?
Yeah, 100%. So like, I used to, my head would always draw me to a negative side of it. So if like, say for instance, something happened, I won't mention who it was with, but something happened a year ago, but before I was Muslim, I'll catch people like this all the time. So at a kid's party, a kid had a ham sandwich, a normal kid, I don't know if the kid was Christian or even religious at all, had a ham sandwich. One of the Muslim boys said to him, "You can't eat that ham sandwich." Within 5 minutes, the Muslim boy had a beer in his hand. So now
Same person
that said you can't have a ham sandwich.
Okay.
So so back then,
You've seen the hypocrisy.
yeah, I would shout and say, "Oh, look, you're meant to be a Muslim. You can't do this, do that." Now I'll have an adult conversation and say, "Brother, you're coming across as a hypocrite." Do you know what I mean? But back then, my negativity would be like, so this is what these boys are about. Do you know what I mean?
So he was quick to judge.
Exactly that.
Whereas now you're a bit more clued up to understand, like, this is just a Muslim, but he's not practicing it how it should be because I've read blah, 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 blah.
So now I feel like I'm not educated enough because I'm still 1% educated. But now I feel different to the point of I don't judge, and no one should judge the religion on a person.
Of course.
Don't judge Islam on a Muslim. Judge Islam for Islam.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
The book, what does it say? What did the Prophet live like?
Exactly that. So like, some people might see me as a Muslim and say like, Dan's changed, Dan does this different. Okay, cool. But don't judge Islam on me because I'm not perfect. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
So
that's a wise way to move. So cool, you're in prison, you've read the book. I'm guessing you've obviously come out. What's happened after coming out now? You're not obviously, you didn't become a Muslim straight away, I'm guessing.
no. So I come out when I was 25. That's when I come out first couple of years just doing normal stuff.
This is before the jewelry.
Before jewelry again. Okay. But when before that 6-year sentence, when I first dipped my toe into the jewelry, the geezer with the shop in Sydenham, and then I come out, a couple of years went by, just getting along, hustling, making some money, and then I decided to do the watches again. Open an Instagram page. This was back then. There was only probably 2 or 3 Instagram sellers.
Yeah, I was gonna
Watches 750 like J&Jeff, Chrono 750.
Established companies from back then.
Exactly that. But the Instagram kind of sellers like we are, do you know what I mean? So them two, who else was about? Trotters.
Okay.
Yeah. Rankins was obviously probably the most popular shop back then.
Okay.
Even though he didn't really have an Instagram. So there was like only like 4 or 5 established shops. So I thought, look, this is something that I'll definitely get into because I see from before prison there was good money in it.
Of course.
And
so you in your mind though, did you tell yourself I'm going straight at this point, or was there still?
Do you know what? I never once, and it sounds mad because some people like that side of it. I never once did a crime and thought I want to do this.
Okay.
Not once. I never thought it was glamorous. I never thought I wanted to tell people about it. I always thought I did it because I had to do it. Does that make sense? I never once thought it was like a cool thing to do. Or so in my head from the start, from me without even thinking about it, because I never thought about it. It'll always be like, I'm doing it because I have to do it. Do you know what I mean? So there was always going to be a transition for me. I was never going to be doing rogue stuff forever. It'll always be, I'm doing this until I don't have to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to understand is now that you're doing the jewelry though, there in your brain though there isn't that switch. Then you're still just seeing it as this is another way of making money.
Yeah, literally.
You're not saying I'm on the right path or wrong path, or in your brain there's none of that.
It's my job.
I'm just trying to make.
And I say to people all the time because I get a lot of DMs and things out saying, "How did you become a jeweler?" People want to become a jeweler. I never wanted to become a jeweler. I just wanted to make some money because I didn't have no money. So like if I was going to be bin man and make money, I'd be happy to be a bin man.
Yeah. So you're a businessman in essence. Literally, a businessman doesn't necessarily love what he does. He just does whatever.
I don't feel like a businessman, if that makes sense. I feel like someone just trying to make some money. Do you know what I mean?
It's business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you have a base at that time? Did you start off just via Instagram, or did you kind of like open up the shop in Bromley?
No, so I started off literally. I had a watch or 2 that I bought. Okay. Started up in Instagram. Just like literally just started up the Instagram. I think I started, it was December, Christmas Day it was, 2014 or something. 2013 it might even be. 14 I think it was.
Is that when didn't Instagram start around that time though, or a little bit earlier than that?
I'm not sure because like I said, there was people on Instagram like Trotters and Chrono 750 and J&Jeff Watch 750. They was on Instagram, So it definitely was there. Do you know what I mean? Because they would have influenced me too.
Of course,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
It was in its early stages, though.
very
I'm
early. If
guessing.
you go back all the way back, you'll see like the picture quality is mad.
Okay.
Yeah. And then yeah, so then within 6 months, I think it was, I met a guy called Tone that he was actually one of my good pals, like one of my closest pals, brother-in-law, but I didn't know at the time. I walked into a boxing gym. Basically what happened was there was a boxing promoter, someone dropped out of a fight, and I randomly had a conversation with him. He said, "Oh, do you want to take the fight?" I said, "Yeah, sweet, I'll have a fight." I've never boxed, but I said, "Yeah, sweet, I'll have a fight." Went into a boxing gym, and this Tony was in there. And then within 6 months, we ended up going into business and opening a Bromley shop together.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What happened with a punch out? You got knocked out or you won?
Nah. Smacked him up. No, I didn't really. No, it was a good fight. It was the fella was how I lost. I wouldn't say I won. It was like one of them charity events. Do you know what I mean? So, but
You didn't train for it enough. You just
I
went
didn't train
straight
for it. I
in.
had like 2 weeks. I went in.
Brawling.
Yeah, just like sloppy, really. Yeah, very sloppy.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool. So you're with this Tony brother now. You're doing that business.
Yeah,
I'm guessing you're making money now.
I think that's about 2017, maybe. Yeah, started making a bit of money.
Where's all Oliver and these lot now? They're still with you at this time?
Oliver's around, Sam's around, Bill's around, everyone's still around. Do you remember when I worked with in the Secret Garden? We've all been together from early. We've all grown up together, basically. So like Oliver, Dole was like I'm from Downham. Dole's dad lived in just like that Bromley kind of way. And then, yeah, it was all just Sam's from Downham, Bill's from Downham, like the other end of Downham. So yeah, we just kind of like, well, me, Sam and Bill grown up together, and then Dole come along with 14, so we've grown up together, really.
Of course, black pals from young.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Okay. Moving on to that then, with regards to the Islam, when did that start then?
What, when I set my Shahada, or?
Yeah.
I think let's maybe go on to the, in terms of Hatton Garden, because from Bromley, he's moved to Hatton Garden.
Okay.
So it's obviously got more established, the business side.
Yeah. So basically the Bromley shop,
messed up.
It didn't really mess up because it was like a Bromley shop was like a one-off. It would never happen again. So like within a year, we had a charity fight with Trotter's Jewelers, which were the best at the time. Do you know what I mean? Our profile went from here to here.
Just by being connected with them.
Exactly that. Just connected to them. And it was like where I knew a lot of people like from previous, like so say like I knew you from previous, you're gonna come down to the shop. Oh, Dan's got a shop now. Like it's like and people wanted to support it. Yeah, people wanted to support the business because it was someone like themselves as done something that was quite a big achievement. Do you know what I mean? And then then I messed it up. I got remanded again for another firearm.
Okay.
Not guilty for that, thank God.
Okay. But a little remand time and then
but that remand time as well, that was another thing that the Islam journey kept going, because there was a brother on the wind from West London.
I'm guessing now you're local to Seoul Marsh or something?
I was in Hydan at the time when it was a remand jail.
Okay.
I might have been in Elmley. They looked the same to me, so I can't remember which one it was.
Hydan,
Yeah. And then so one of the brothers said to me, look, pray in the morning. Best time is when the birds are chirping to pray in the morning.
Well, a Muslim brother just said that to you randomly.
Yeah,
you know you're Muslim or not?
I was going to church. But he was just telling me to pray. He didn't say like, "Oh, you're a Christian. You shouldn't be a Muslim. You should be a Muslim." Do you know what I mean? He just said to me, "Look, because I'm saying like what I'm doing is praying." Do you know what I mean? And for the trial, because I knew the trial was coming up, and he said, "Pray in the morning is the best time." And then the day after he said that, until my day of trial, every morning, no alarm, first bird that went tweet, I was up.
Mad.
Yeah, and I prayed every morning.
It's Fajr time.
Yeah, Fajr now. Yeah, now I know it's Fajr. At the time, I didn't. Do you know what I mean? It was only till last year I knew it was Fajr, and that was 5 years ago now.
That's
yeah.
Crazy.
So
okay, so from then you went. Obviously, the whole Bromley situation come back up.
Yeah, so then I come back to Bromley, but I was always known by the police in Bromley because even though I'm from Downham, I was always anything that I did to make money was in Bromley.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So like a lot of people associate me and say I was from Bromley, not knowing I'm from Downham, because so like when I started making a bit of money doing other stuff, it was always in Bromley. Do you know what I mean? So I when I went back to Bromley, tried to make the shop work with another friend of mine that was also jumped into jewelry in the meantime. Basically we don't stop getting problems with the police in Bromley. Because no matter how well that I seem to be doing or we seem to be doing, it's like they will never believe that we're not doing what we was doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I did recently. I was with a Joe, Traveling Joe. Was in Forest Hill last year, and I said to him, "Oh, we're coming up to my area now." Like just having a casual conversation. The minute I said that, T-packed, boom. Hello, Danny. You still living on Rangefield Road? I've not lived on Range for 10 years. 10
Man.
years. I had a slimming tablet in my bag. Yeah, I've got a belly. Yeah, so I had a slimming tablet. They nicked us for supplying Class A drugs for one slimming tablet. But
Just
obviously,
because they've got something against you.
just because they think I'm still selling drugs or still doing other stuff. Do you know what I mean? They don't like firearms, do they? And I've obviously got not guilty on the last firearm, so
So there's like a grudge to you.
I believe so. Yeah, but
And that's like last year.
last year, yeah. But I've got to accept it because I was
You was not
I was what I was doing. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully one day they look into me and they realise that I don't do anything and it is all straight now and everything's sweet, and then they leave me alone.
So from there, in terms of the Bromley shop, okay, did you sell it off? Did you?
Nah, we just literally we actually turned it into a good friend of mine, Flomsy. He give me when I come out of that remand time, he give me a shop in Bexley Heath. He should give it to me for free. Lovely guy. He said, "Look, have this shop. You just come out of jail. If anyone's going to make it work, it's going to be you, because you see what I've done with the Bromley shop and that." And I took a partner on, a good friend of mine from Young as well, Perry, and we had the Bexley Heath shop and we turned the Bromley shop into another one. It was like a cash exchange shop, so we was buying computers, selling computers, all stuff like that. That went on for about 2 or 3 years.
And the partner was still with you? That Tony, was it Tony?
No, Tony went with me then. So I left Tony after the Bromley Winstons. And then, me and Perry done the 2 shops and up until COVID. And then we closed them after COVID.
And moved to Hatton Garden.
Yeah, and then moved to Hatton Garden during COVID, because I was still doing the watches while Perry was doing the other shops. And so me and George, Hatton Kettles, and Billy, Trading Time, we moved to Hatton Garden.
Was that a big move for you?
At the start, it weren't. At the start, we had a little office, literally smaller than this room here. So yeah, a little office, and we just doing off the Instagrams and just basically, just selling some watches out of there.
So that was 2020, yeah, COVID.
That was
end of 19.
That was 2020, yeah. 2020.
Why Hatton store? Was it more for the name?
A bit, yeah. For the name,
it sounds plush.
Keeping out of Bromley. We had to keep out of Bromley basically as well, because we was only always going to get problems. And comes to Hatton Garden. Do you know what I mean? Said texting if a customer said, "Where you based?" You say Hatton Garden. It sounds right, doesn't it? Sounds like you've done the right thing.
Was it hard getting that though? Because I can imagine that area is a very sought out area.
Kind of, but the office we got was so small. It was like there's hundreds of them, so you don't see above the shops. Every shop has probably got 30 offices above it.
Because when I look at Oliver's, when he puts up the videos, it looks like lots of jewelers.
Yeah, so there's hundreds of jewelers in Hatton Garden. Yeah, so from the small office, we moved to the bigger office, and things are good.
So when you say that, because I haven't been there, Danny, so I haven't been to Hatton Garden, but have you got shop front?
That's a bit out of order. You haven't been to.
Yeah, I think I need to.
Yeah, so it's no shop front. So we did it for a reason, because a lot of people would come into our shop in Bromley and they want to Snapchat jewelry, and so sell out, because we are quite busy. Sometimes in Bromley there'd be 6 or 7 people in the shop, only 4 people serving customers, and 2 of the 6 people would just come in to Snapchat. Do you know what I mean? So we didn't want a shop front. So imagine jewelers like A jewelers. A jewelers are the biggest at the moment. So let's say like they must have 10 customers a day come in just to video stuff. But without the shop front, we don't get that. Anyone that presses our buzzer, we know it's for us.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? We know it's coming to buy a watch. So, or at least coming to try on a watch, come back and buy the watch. You know, they're serious. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, they're not just coming to make their grams look good and
Allah put barakah in your business, inshallah, and bless it. So moving forward, Dan, inshallah, this is going to be interesting. You know, in terms of your journey now towards Islam, Shahada, what happened at that stage? What were you reading? Please, start from the beginning of that journey towards taking your Shahada.
So what led me to Islam was first when I read the Quran, and it always stayed in my head. It was always in my head. And then, I mean, I was always gaining more knowledge, because I always enjoyed the conversations I had with Oliver and that. So I was always guided to it. Yeah, and then the main turning point for me was that time I was on the plane. I think I told you about it.
Yeah.
I'm not a good flyer no more. I had a bad turbulence once when I was flying in from Gibraltar. Okay. Bad turbulence. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Anyway, then
you turned to God at that time?
Not at that time. I didn't. Okay. The next time I was on a plane with Sam. We was going to Barcelona, and we got bad turbulence again and again. I was like so scared. I was holding on to everything. He actually takes the mickey out of me because my faces I was pulling. And I had a thought in my head. And bearing in mind, this is a Christian man. That month I probably was in church. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And the thought in my head was, not I'm gonna die because I thought I was gonna die, or I'm gonna miss my children, or I'm gonna miss my mum. It was like the thought that come into my head was I'm gonna die not a Muslim, but the thought shocked me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it shocks me as you're saying it.
Yeah,
You're
it was
Christian
like,
at the time, but your
I was
thought was,
Christian.
I'm going to die as a
Yeah.
non-Muslim.
And it wasn't like I was actively reading Quran at the time.
Yeah,
It was just like, it must have been a subconscious thing that was always in my head from reading Quran. And it was like, then when I had the turbulence and I had that thought, it was like, whoa, where did that come from? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was like, it shocked me. It was literally like, where did that thought come from?
Yeah.
And then that was probably 2 years ago now. So reading the Quran from 10 years ago, 8 years went past.
Of course.
Dibbing and dabbing, not much, just having a little look, having conversations with Dol. And my other Muslim friends. I've got quite a few Muslim friends. And then, but never serious conversations. Like, even though if you asked him, I don't think he would say, yeah, Danny would become Muslim. Do you know what I mean? He'd obviously say, inshallah, he becomes Muslim.
Of course.
And then, I had that on the plane. And then, because of the thought shocked me so much, I felt like I had to educate myself more. And then I started reading Quran again.
But was that an internal thing, or did you mention that to the boys and say, this happened?
No, internal.
That was an internal.
Yeah, I'm not really I'm not really the guy that starts talking about feelings and that a lot. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like Dol will come in and be like, if he had a road rage, he'll say, oh, someone gets stuck in the car. Yeah. I'm not really that guy. So it just stuck in my head. I started to get some more knowledge. And then that was about a year before I took my Shahada, I think. Maybe even less.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I fasted Ramadan last year.
Nice.
The year before.
The year before.
Yeah, last year you're already Muslim.
The year before.
Full month, everything.
No, I missed 2 days. I went up to Alton Towers with the kids.
Okay.
So I used the excuse of travelling. So I missed 3 or 4 days that year before last Ramadan.
But what made you say again, I'm gonna fast? Was that again like you're leading towards I want to be a Muslim? What was it like? You're testing it out in your brain?
Yeah, it was just like testing. It was like, even then I can't remember consciously thinking. Do you know how I mentioned the business? I never consciously thought this is my business plan. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's the same with Islam. I never consciously thought this is my Islam plan.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I'm gonna head into Islam now with this. It was just like I'm just testing things. I'm trying things.
Exactly that. And I think it was about halfway through Ramadan, year before last, is when I thought, after Ramadan, I'm going to take my Shahada.
Okay.
I also had thoughts in my head before that, which a lot of people get these thoughts, which is why I brought it up, is I said to myself, when I did first read the Quran 10 years ago, if I was going to become Muslim, I'll only do it when I'm going to do it properly. What is doing it properly?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, I'm not going to do normal sins.
Exactly that.
But you're just lying to yourself, because everyone's going to still commit sins.
Yeah, but it's not just you lying to yourself. That is a voice in your head lying to you, so maybe you don't do it.
Of course.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
So it's like shaitan in your ear saying to you, you better do it properly if you're going to do it. Do you know what I mean? So it delays people from doing it.
Yeah, 100%.
But if I knew now what I knew then, I probably would have done it 10 years ago. Because Islam is like, it's a lifestyle. It's a journey. It's not like you flick a switch overnight. And I've been lucky enough since I've been to Mecca, Medina and that, and Al-Aqsa. I met a really high sheikh, Imam of Medina.
Okay.
First thing he said to me, obviously I had a translator, he couldn't speak English, was take your time, enjoy the journey. So when I had that conversation with him, I didn't really take it to heart too much. I just thought, okay, take your time. Yeah, sweet, I will do. Then I also met Imam of Al-Aqsa. He said the exact same thing to me. Take your time. But now I realise it's like, it's not about overnight life change. Because it sounds like a massive, it is massive, don't get me wrong.
It's a massive jump, of course.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah,
it's like a 100-meter sprint.
You know what it is? I think that, you see that feeling of, I have to be like this, that is a reflection of many Muslims and the advice that's given.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Muslims, including myself, many people, when you become Muslim or you start practicing Islam, because you have such zeal for it, and you see someone turning into Islam or whatever, you want to give them that same feeling you have. Like, start praying, bro. Let's start doing this, make up for Fajr.
Yeah.
So is that zealousness that kind of pushes other people, and I can't do all of that, though, but pray 5 times a day, fast. Now that's a myth.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait until I'm a spiritual person myself, then I'm going to do that. But no one knows when you're going to pass. No one knows if you're ever even going to change into that.
Because a lot of people would probably think, ideally, I'm going to wait till I'm retired.
Of course.
Because then I can pray 5 times a day and go wherever at work. But realistically, when you take the Shahada, and the more you learn, with Islam, it's, you know what it is. It's like, it's an explanation for everything. It's not just, you shouldn't do this.
Of course.
There's an explanation. So when you do wake up for Fajr, it's a good feeling. But to someone who ain't getting that education, they're thinking, 3 o'clock at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you got to wake up at 3 o'clock. That's mad. But it ain't.
Yeah.
You wake up, you pray, you have a glass of water. It makes you feel good. It feels like you've accomplished something of the morning to start with. Do you know what I mean? Every time.
One of the things is, people think, look, Allah needs our worship.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah.
It betters us.
Yeah.
Even the prohibitions, the
Yeah.
things that we're supposed to keep away from.
Yeah.
It's for our benefit.
Yeah.
It's not Allah's going to
Yeah.
become any greater than what Allah is and so on.
Yeah.
But interesting, with Ollie and Sam. So remember, that time period, it wasn't cool to be a Muslim.
Yeah.
So it was a big statement,
Yeah.
them just being Muslims,
Yeah.
telling their friends they're Muslim, telling you they're Muslim,
Yeah.
wearing, let's say, thobes or saying Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
Probably, in my kind of let's say, assumption, also had an impact on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think that's correct?
No. Sorry, you're always right. But I think at the time they was doing it in the 2008 era, I think the opposite. This is what put me off.
Oh.
I think it was cool to be Muslim. A lot of people was going to prison. A lot of people was reverting in prison. It was a big
Like a fashion thing.
fashion thing.
It was, I think, from all 6s, 7s,
Yeah.
8s, it was.
Yeah, that's I think a lot of people reverted them times for the fashion. But alhamdulillah, a lot of people now that I met a guy, one of AR's pal, Abdul Rahim, who's a really good brother of ours.
I met him actually. He's a good brother.
Yeah, he's a very good guy. He tells me a story about one of his brothers from Peckham that took his shahada when it was cool to do so. Never read one word in the Quran, he tells me. Never read one thing. Just everyone was doing it, so he done it. Now he's a fully practicing good Muslim.
MashaAllah.
So do you know what I mean? So you can't say to someone, I mean, you've done it for the wrong reasons, because the wrong has become right. Thank God.
So Dan, one thing now. So day of Shahada. Yeah, you've taken your Shahada. That day after the Shahada, how do you feel? Emotionally, mentally, spiritually? What's the feeling that you're going through?
I felt like there was a lot of weight lifted off my shoulders. The moment I done Shahada, it was like, everything felt right. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if timing felt right. Everything just felt right. It was just like everything kind of fell into place. And everything.
Yeah, mashallah. I'll get onto, because there's a lot of brothers that have come with you, through you and with you to the Masjid Shahada. So I'm going to mention some of them shortly. But shortly after, in a way, you could say, look, Allah blessed you multiple ways. Very shortly after, you got married to your partner, correct?
Yeah.
What made you say, look, that's a major step now, Shahada.
Yeah.
I'm also making some major steps in my lifestyle.
Yeah.
In accordance to what Allah wants from me.
Yeah.
Some would say, look, take your time.
Yeah.
It's too much of a rush. Maybe speak to your partner, maybe a couple of months. You literally, I don't know, how many days was it after the Shahada?
It was a week, 7 days.
7 days. So you married Islamically, alhamdulillah. In the eyes of Allah, you're married.
Yeah.
Within a month, Allah bless you. Is it a month? Allah bless you to go to Medina and Mecca.
Yeah.
You done your Umrah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please, look, why the rush? Who supported you? How did you end up? What happened there?
Again, thank God, it just seemed to happen naturally. So I knew I'm always going to be with my wife, even before we had children or whatever. So I thought, why not marry her? That's a sin I don't have to commit no more. So I said to her, look, I want to marry her. She's luckily enough, she was supportive. She said luckily enough. I say luckily for.
Keep that in there. You was lucky.
That's the English out of me. But yeah, go on. So
how did she even take the Islam thing?
Mate, she took it really well.
Like prior to, so did you tell her I'm going to become Muslim, or did you become Muslim and I become Muslim?
No, I told her. Okay. So I said, so she see, after the plane incident, she see me looking into it more, researching more, reading more. And I will tell her, I'll be sitting at home if I'm reading, and I'll be like, oh, look at this. Do you know what I mean? It's the miracle of the Quran, one of the many miracles. And she'll be like, what? She'll be shocked herself. Yeah. And then I said to her, I'm going to take my Shahada. Okay. She was very supportive. Yeah. So she bought me a card. So I'm proud of you. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. You've gone to Mecca, Medina.
Yeah.
Who did you go with? AR, Ollie?
Yeah. So we got married, and then again, it all just fell into place. Thank God. It was Imam Sab, an Imam that I speak to from Hatton Garden. He's a jeweler also.
An Imam that's a jeweler.
Yeah. He's a jeweler, yeah.
I'm in the wrong game, brother. Yeah. I'm in the wrong game, man.
Yeah.
One, bro.
Listen, you got one of those small offices for me there.
Yeah. It's always space for you.
Never. Yeah, he wears a suit, the whole Imam thing and everything, and he sells jewels.
Yeah.
I need to link this guy.
I'll FaceTime him.
Nothing wrong with it, actually.
Yeah, he's a really good brother as well. Really good guy. Yeah, so he was giving me a lot of dawah as well before I took my shahada. I took my shahada. I went downstairs to like a workshop that we both used. He was there. He said, "I'm going to Mecca next week. You should come with me." And thank God, alhamdulillah, I have the money to do it. So I said to him, "I'll come." He thought I was joking first of all. He said, "Oh yeah, sweet, we'll go." And I said, "No, I want to book it now. Let's do it." And then yeah, we literally booked it there and then. A few of the other boys, Dole come with us. So took Dole, Abdul Rahim as well, and Imam Sab, and yeah, the four of us went, and yeah, that was within a month of taking Shahada.
Alhamdulillah.
And you're saying that's based on obviously him obviously saying I'm gonna go, but in you there was that desire to fulfill it.
It felt like it was right. Same as my Shahada. It's like as soon as I shook my Shahada, it felt like things. See me, I'm quite is blasé the right word? Like if saying
blasé, but you're very free flow with like
free flow.
Yeah, like you're not restricting. Like if someone offers you something, you feel like it sits right with you. Like, you know what, let me do it.
Like if you said to me now, look, you want to go Syria and help out, and you had a plan to do it, I'll say, cool, I'll come. Do you know what I mean? So I don't overthink things and things like that. So as soon as he said it, I thought, this is a good opportunity for me. Let's go.
One thing I will add though, look, how many brothers and sisters been, Muslims for a time, even born in Muslim kind of like families, haven't taken that initiative. So it's also your own passion, desire, and a bit of work. You've got to put the money forward, which you did. So it's not easy, but at the same time, alhamdulillah, credit to you, but a blessing from Allah Ta'ala, a blessing from Allah Almighty. And saying this now, he mentioned the Imam. The Imam is like a senior Imam. His name is Abdul Muhsin al-Qasim. That's the Imam's name that you met in Medina. So he met him and, he told him, look, it's a journey, take your time. But told him, look, he invited him to London. So the Imam said, which he now needs to fulfill. Yeah. Because he told him, he said, look, if you can give 5 people dawah and shahada, from London, UK, I'm going to come to London.
He also said, one of my parents, he said, he mentioned my mum specifically.
Yeah.
He said, concentrate on your mum, get your mum to take her shahada.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, shahada. Yeah, he said he will come if you get 5.
Yeah, and Dan, sometimes it might be, look, the power of dua. He's probably said it to you and made dua.
Yeah.
And that's had an impact on mum and others, coming towards Islam and so on. So moving forward, Umrah you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Messenger of Allah said in one hadith, he said between one Umrah and another Umrah. You do one Umrah and then you do another one. In between any shortcomings that you have, mistakes or sins, Allah wipes it away. So it's a blessing that, you were able to go to Makkah and Medina. Makkah, praying in that masjid, 100,000 times more rewardable than praying in any other masjid. The Prophet's mosque in Medina, you went there, it's a different, the vibe is completely peaceful, relaxation, calmness, but praying in there, 1,000 times more rewardable than any other masjid and so on. So that was a blessing. Yeah, you've gone to kind of like holy sites and so on. You've come back, speak about, so before I get to your mum stage now, I want to ask you about, okay, you're white English. Yeah. Did you feel, one, the Muslim community accommodated you as a brother and as part of the family? And number 2, did you feel, okay, I'm white English, I need to change my culture? Yeah, these two would, because I want the white community to kind of like listen to these words and so on.
Yeah, so culture, when I first took my shahada, come into it quite a lot for me. So I didn't feel like I had to take my culture at all. I didn't feel like I had to wear thobe every day. I just felt like I had to be dressed smartly and covered for praying. What's the first part of the question?
Yeah, community.
The community welcoming. Sorry, that was it. Yeah, 100%. So I've never.
I don't mean just locally people, but just the wider Muslim community.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, I was getting a lot of phone calls from Muslims that maybe I haven't even spoke to for years, welcoming me, congratulating me for taking shahada. Genuinely, people seemed really happy. Do you know what I mean? Like that I've been drawn to Islam, but now I see it on others that I've been drawn to Islam. So say when someone takes their new shahada, Dom, when he first took his shahada, the feeling is like, because you know what they're getting into and you know how their lives are going to improve and how much that they're going to be deeply happy. Do you know what I mean?
Happy for them.
Yeah. So I'm happy that they're going to get the happiness that I have.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So, you felt accommodated, you felt part of the family.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you're not feeling, 100%. Okay, I'm white English.
There's not one person or one Muslim brother that's never made me feel even a slightly bit uncomfortable. So, and not to say anything bad about a Christian or anything, but I can remember going into a church when I moved to down in Kent. When I was going to the church, went into a church and I got made to feel a little bit uncomfortable. But since reverting to Islam, I've not met one brother that hasn't been 100% accommodating.
Inshallah.
I mean, if I can imagine meeting a stranger, if he was Muslim, he knew I was Muslim. If he had one digestive biscuit, he'd half it with me. I couldn't imagine a Muslim and not.
Cool.
So-
And what about like previous or people that are not Muslim that are maybe your old school friends? How did they take your Islam?
So
Outside of your mum and obviously
yeah.
those people.
So with me, it's a bit of a strange one, really, because I've always kind of be that guy that people would ask for advice. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I wouldn't say I'm smart. I'm not smart at all. But if like I'm logical, does that make sense? So if like someone's got a problem, say like you had a problem with a mum, and you'd be like, oh, damn, I've got this problem. I'm kind of that guy that people call and be like, this is the situation. So since I took my Shahada, I've not had no negativity at all. Not one bit, not to my face anyway. Not what I've heard of. Do you know what I mean? So people have more been like intrigued off the back of me doing
Muslim,
it. Yeah. So like, I mean, I've had a funny comment before. Someone said to me, I got a phone call once from one of my pals in Essex. Funny guy. He's always making jokes and that. And he said, Dan, you're Muslim now. What happened? Proper Essex boy, white kid, side parting and that. And I said, well, read the book, mate. You find out. And he said, I'll do anything to make some money. he said, if I have to wear a phobe, tell me, bring me in. What is it? And I was laughing my head off.
So basically you're doing it for money.
Yeah, he was like basically saying like there's got to be an ulterior motive. He said it can't just be you want to be Muslim. Do you know what I mean? He was sure it was an ulterior motive. By the end of the conversation, he said, I'm going to look into it.
Yeah.
He said, I'll look into
I think
it.
Tiny Boo said something similar. And it's like, bro, I got to get into this Islam thing.
Yeah.
These guys got the things, they got this.
Yeah. But yeah, I've had that a few times with a few different people. But you got to remember, see where sometimes I mix with like proper old English.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hello, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like builders and that.
Yeah.
And they say the same thing. There's a builder man I speak to now. I give him dawah at the moment, little bits. And when he first found out, it was an awkward conversation. He was like, he found out one of my friends took his Shahada, and he was like, mate, I won't say his name. Finney's took Shahada. Or Finney's becoming Muslim, his words were. And I said, yeah, mate, yeah. He went, what's all that about? And I was like, I don't know, mate, you'll have to read it. He went, you ain't going to do that, are you? I said, I've nearly been Muslim 2 years. And he literally put his hands on his head. He went, nah. Nah. But now, mate, I seen him the other day.
Yeah.
He was like, the more I read, the more I'm into it.
He
And he's
said
a
that?
proper builder, yeah.
Crazy.
He said, the more I'm into it, he's like, it's family based. He said the morals.
Yeah.
He said most stuff that he was brought up with the morals, not to steal, not to cheat on
of
your
course.
things like that. He said that comes from Islam. But we don't realise this. You know what I mean? We're growing up in this country, especially. It's especially when I was growing up in school. It was like, to me, a religion, even though I was Christian, a religion was seemed to be a bit of a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's only Islam that kind of makes everything go together.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, it's a living thing.
It's a living thing. Yeah,
It's not
literally.
like something you
That's
just
the way I
read to
explain
God
to
and
people.
say, I know.
Yeah, and God, growing up as a kid in school,
Yeah.
we got told God was a man with a white beard on a cloud.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We know that's not the case. So it's like, yeah, it's
So saying that, Dan, in terms of like, the cultural side,
yeah.
You're white English, you become a Muslim.
Yeah.
You felt, look, I didn't need to change my culture.
No,
The reason I'm asking, maybe for the viewers to kind of like understand, it's not a race cultural thing. The religion ain't. You understand?
Yeah, and that's something some people do get confused. I feel like, obviously, I'm not judging anyone, but I feel like some people feel like they take the Shahada and have to change their culture.
Yeah.
They have to wear the phobe. They have to. You don't have to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Change their name.
You don't have to change
Change
your
your
name.
name.
No,
Danny, you've kept it.
Yeah, I've kept it Danny Dean. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you could change your name if you like, whatever makes you happy, but you don't have to. You don't. The only thing you have to change in Islam is to be a better person. Do you know what I mean? Is to become the best person you can be. And this is the way I explain it to some people. I say to them, look, when you buy a telly, you get an instruction manual. Life's got an instruction manual.
Exactly.
Read Quran. This is the instruction manual.
And the other point was, Danny, so before I come to some of the brothers and your mum took Shahada. That's a very interesting story. So that's important. I want you to mention your brother has taken Shahada recently as well. So that I want you to mention. But in terms of, the influx of Shahadas. I mean, in Ramadan, in the masjid, we have 60 Shahadas.
Wow.
It's like twice a day.
Yeah.
Twice, 1 week, I think before Ramadan, it was like 25 in a week.
Wow.
It's just, not everything we put up, because a lot of people want it private for various reasons. especially a lot of the sisters and stuff. They just want to keep it private. But I would say there was a large influx from the Afro-Caribbean community, from the Black community. And now is an influx from the white community.
Yeah.
A question in terms of what's happening, what's making them look into Islam, what's making them come towards Islam is,
I think there's several things that are making people's eyes open a lot more. One of them being, I feel like the biggest question people say to me, non-believers say, is, oh, if God come out the cloud now and said hello, then I'll become religious, or I'll start believing in him.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the devil's showing his face a lot more. Shaitan's showing his face a lot more. You've got men, I don't know if you meant to say this or not, dressing as women, dressing with devil horns on their head, teaching our kids crazy stuff that they shouldn't be learning about. So the devil's showing his face a whole lot more. So if I can show you the devil, surely God don't need to show his face, because you've got the proof there. If there's a devil, there's a God, right? If there's good, there's bad. If there's bad, there's good. So I think people are looking for an ethereal. What a word I'm trying to say. What's ethereal? What is that word?
Like an alternative.
Yeah, alternative from what we're being taught, especially in this country. This country, from birth, we're taught some mad stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
and I think also at the same time though, is that even though England, the West, is based on Christianity, as the years have gone on, it's more atheistic, agnostic.
I don't think it is Christianity.
That's what I'm trying to say to you.
I don't think it is.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Because Orthodox Christians, I mean, I got pictures on my phone from Palestine, meeting Orthodox Christians.
Yeah.
Some of them wear phobe. Do you know what I mean? They wear something on their head.
They say Arabic, they say Allah.
Yeah, they say Allah. It's like, what are the West ain't Christian.
No, but my point I'm making
is disguised as Christian.
This is my point. So their basis is originally it was Christianity, but as the years have gone on, it's like they've taken the atheistic, agnostic path much more serious than the Christianity. The Christianity is now like a fairy tale.
You know what? They might have the, like, say, belief side of, look, we believe Christianity, we believe in Jesus Christ, but
the laws and how they
application now.
Exactly.
So now what he's referring to, transgenderism.
Yeah. It's disguised.
You know what? Come on, you're following the Bible.
Yeah.
Up to now.
Yeah.
These things are going to be against kind of like biblical teachings. But nobody is saying it except Muslims and Islam.
Yeah.
So people are kind of like seeing that alternative, like you said. Yeah. So that, you think that's the main kind of like reason?
Yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons that people can see pure evil now. Do you know what I mean? But just going back to this country being a Christian country, I don't think it is. I don't think the West is Christian at all. I think it's the opposite. It's not. There's no religion. It is atheist.
Exactly.
It is just men that control it. Just no more
materialism. Huh? Materialism. It's money, and that's it. Capitalism,
but
and just
what I believe and what we can see, what they want from us is destruction of family. They don't want a family basis, and Christians do. So an Orthodox Christian, they can't go out and cheat on their wife or be transgender or all this funny stuff.
But even then, Dan, so look, they're not becoming Orthodox Christians.
Yeah.
People are still becoming Muslims. So what else is there? So you've got that side, because there's other faiths. They'll also say the same thing as we say. Look, you can't do this stuff.
Education.
Sikhs, Buddhists.
Education. I generally believe, and I tell people this all the time. I've even told certain people that have been like, oh yeah, what drove you to Islam? I say, read the Quran, find me one fault, I'll give you £100,000. There's no faults. So the education's out there more. So even though the bad education's out there, there's also good education. So
you said there's a lot more popular people.
There's a lot more popular people becoming Muslim because all they need is to be shown Quran. And once you're shown it, there's no arguing it. So say like the average kid like me, white kid, I was shown it because I read it to find faults in it. But then once I could see no faults, that's what drew me to it. So now I've become Muslim. So then maybe my friends will say, why has he become Muslim? Then they read it, then they can't see a fault in it.
I'll tell you something, this might be a mistake on my part though, yeah. People, a lot of people come to the mosque, random people looking into Islam. And I always think to myself, the Quran, it's just going to be too much for them. Let me give them a book about Allah. Let me give them then a book about Prophet Muhammad. Simplify it. Not understanding, it's the Quran.
Yeah.
That's, even though it's the translation of Allah's words, but that's the real kind of like education they're going to get about Islam. So look, coming to your mum now. Yeah, you ask for a Quran for your mum.
Yeah.
Mum took a Quran. Every few weeks, maybe let's say I meet you 10 days. How's mum doing? she's reading the Quran. A week later, she's read it once. A few weeks later, she's read it twice. Yeah, she's ready to take Shahada.
Yeah.
And eventually, mum's coming to take Shahada.
Mm.
I remember, 1, you breaking down when she took Shahada. 2, I asked her, oh, Mum, I heard you read the Quran twice. You know what she said? Akhi, that Quran, have you seen the print? Akhi, it's a small print.
Okay.
Even when I give it, I'm thinking, you know what, they're not going to read it. Mum's read it 4 times cover to cover. Many Muslims wouldn't do this.
Mm.
And she's just taken a Shahada. Akhi, firstly, your discussions with Mum, giving her the Quran beforehand, then the Quran, and then her journey to the Shahada. You know, what happened? Tell us.
So my mum was also Christian. She was going to church quite regularly up until she took her Shahada. When I told her I was taking Shahada, she was like, whoa, what's going on here? Because again, I'm that guy that she might ask for advice. Do you know what I mean? She might say like, oh, what's going on? So once I told her I did it, she was like, oh, okay then. She wasn't once negative and said like, wow, do you know what I mean, we're Christians or whatever. She and then I said, because she was that bit of interest, I said, I'll get you Quran if you want. She was, yeah, cool, get me one. I'll read it. I got her it. And yeah, like you said, she read it for the first time. And then I actually went there because I don't see my mum all that often. There's not as often as I should have. And a couple of weeks later, I was like, yeah, how's your reading going? She'd come up with something, go, oh, I can't believe this, I can't believe that. One of the main things as well that don't get mentioned a lot is how similar Christianity and Islam is. So
A lot.
it's 90% the same. Do you know what I mean? Apart from the names being different.
Because the original teachings of Jesus was what? Islam. Moses, Islam.
But our education system don't teach us this.
Yeah.
And our what's the word I'm looking for?
What, the school system?
No, what's the word? Do you know when someone influences you? Our influences don't tell us.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? That Jesus is in Quran. So before reading Quran, I never knew Jesus in Quran. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was a whole different thing.
There's a whole surah of his mum's name.
Yeah.
Maryam.
Yeah.
Maryam. Surah Maryam is his mum's name.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, look, when they're against hijab, even their depictions.
It's showing hijab.
Akhi, that's hijab.
Yeah.
Jilbab, hijab. She's wearing hijab. You know, and you want to be against hijab?
Yeah.
When, you know, the mother of Jesus is kind of like...
Wearing hijab.
It makes me happy when I see a woman wear a hijab.
Cool.
Stranger, not even need to meet. If I'm driving past in a car and I see a woman in a hijab, that to me is what feminism is. That woman's woke up. She chose to cover herself. How can you come out
for the sake of God?
For the sake of God, and their agenda that they push on us is
pushing it on them.
Let me get my breast out.
Oh yeah.
Because that's feminism. How is that feminism?
Doing what the man wants.
That's easy. That's easy. Anyone could take their top off.
Yeah.
That's easy. Waking up in the morning, covering yourself up for the sake of Allah. That's not easy.
It's deep.
Do you know what I mean?
Summertime, putting it on.
Walking around, some women are wearing the full
veil and stuff.
Yeah, and in the summer. Do you think that's easy?
Of course not.
Never.
Of course.
Never. Hot. They're doing it for the sake of Allah.
That's it.
But a woman in hot pants will say, I am, do you know what I mean? I'm cool. You're not cool at all.
So in essence, look, they're the slaves.
Yes.
This one is free.
Yeah.
Free.
That's another thing. I think why people are being drawn to Islam as well. Because I think people are slowly starting to realise that maybe what we are taught ain't always the right. So you look for an alternative, and then when you see the alternative and you can see that, so if someone says the sky's blue, so let's this is an example I used a little while ago. So in England, we're taught that someone that hasn't got any money, they go and steal something to feed their family. Where we're right on, they need to be punished 100%. Yeah, they might go and rob a post office, for instance. Not hurt anyone, but scare someone, but not hurt anyone. They'll get 10 years in prison. A paedophile will do something to a child and get a community order. That same person that thinks that's okay is the same person bringing up our children, telling our children what's right and wrong. Because if you agree that a man that's robbed the post office to earn some money, not hurting anyone, or even if he did hurt someone, it's not as bad as hurting a vulnerable child. And if someone who hurts a vulnerable child should not go to prison, which all these people do. Something's wrong with you, bro.
Yeah, the whole system and how they apply justice.
Yes,
is warped.
Like,
coming back to mum, so what's, you know, she's reading the Quran, she's asking you what's happened now. When's the final kind of like, you know, did she have a final discussion? Look, a few questions here and there, I'm not sure.
Yeah, she asked me a lot of questions along the way. She was she'll text me now and again saying, I've just read this. What do you think of this? Nothing negative. All along the way was like more
Any examples?
intrigued. Yeah.
Any
Intrigued, more
examples?
Yeah.
Can you, any example you can remember?
Women covering up, because we were just talking about hijab. Why have women got to cover up?
Mhm.
And men not have to cover up.
Mm.
To explain to her, like, the women are looked better than men in Islam. Do you know what I mean? So a woman is treasured. If you've got a treasure chest at home, do you want to go and shave it around and show
And
everyone?
you're a jeweler as well, so you
Yeah.
can.
Do you want to go and show everyone you
got it packaged.
Let's take it to jewelry terms. If you own 4 Rolexes,
Mm.
you got 4 Rolexes investments at home. Yeah, you've got £100,000 in Rolexes. Are you going to walk through Bromley High Street or Lewisham High Street with 4 Rolexes going, look at this, everyone? Look at this.
Yeah.
Of course you're not. You're going to hide your Rolexes.
Mm-mm.
So it's the same for your wife.
Feminists will shout back at you and say we're not possession, though.
You're not possessed. Yeah, but that woman, she doesn't have to be in position.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She is looked up as higher than men in Islam. Do you know what I mean? And women are. Women come down to the basis of family. Do you know what I mean? Without a good woman, a strong woman, we can't have a family.
Mhm.
Family is the fundamentals.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
And then finally she's told you, okay, look, you know what?
Yeah.
I want to take the Shahada.
Yeah.
You've, messaged me, called me out, you want to come down. Hamda, she's come. Alfie, is it Joey and Billy?
Yeah.
They're all there, all his mates
Yes.
there, non-Muslims. So I think
But it was all non-Muslims at the time.
Muslims.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened. We was going out, Alfie's dad got a helicopter and we went out for a day out. We went down to Cornwall in the helicopter and I said, we've got to get back. Mum's taking a Shahada today. So as we come back, we was going to eat in the West End. Picked my mum up. She jumped in the car with all of us and we were like, yeah, it was a good vibe really. And then, come here and...
so there wasn't awkward about coming in, like, oh, you go inside, we'll wait outside.
No. So Alf or Joe, one of them first said, like, oh, can we come in? Are we allowed in? Because to an uneducated person, you'd think, like, oh, because you're not Muslim, you're not allowed in the mosque. Of course you're allowed in the mosque. Welcome you in, do you know what I mean? Yeah, come in, have a look around. They come in. They stayed to watch Shahada. Yeah, it was emotional.
Yeah, you started crying. Mum took Shahada, you started
How many
crying.
times you want to bring me up crying?
You started crying.
Yeah, I cried,
You cried some more.
I cried a bit more. Yeah, I cried, yes.
Alf asked for the Quran that time.
Alf said, he said, I can't believe that. I just had a feeling I've never had in my life when we got back in the car. I said, what do you mean? He was like, I want to be Muslim. Like there and then. I want to be Muslim. He said, I felt like I've been touched by something. And I was like,
no one's giving him no advice, nothing. He's just walking.
Nothing at all. Just literally just coincidentally, you would call it.
Was it Salah at the time?
No, it was quiet before.
No
very quiet.
A few people empty.
Yeah.
We went to the back.
Yeah.
They're sitting on the Alfie, Joey, Billy. Dad's next to me here. I'm here. Mum's here.
Yeah.
So they just witnessed the Shahada. That was it.
Just literally.
Was Ollie there? Ollie came?
I think Ollie was there.
Came,
yeah, that was there. Yeah. And then from in the car, the rest of us was laughing because he was so sure about it. It was like it wasn't real. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I want to go back now. I want to go take my Shahada. And then I said, you can't take Shahada straight away because you need to learn more about the religion. You give him a Quran every day.
That's crazy. What, prior to that, did he ever learn about Islam?
Not religious at all. His exact words were in the car when I said, like read the Quran first. He said, Danny, he said, I've got everything on earth. Yeah. He said, he wakes up, he can go in his Aston Martin helicopter, getting his Bugatti car. Do you know what I mean? Literally everything. Financially.
Yeah.
He said, I've been on yachts in Dubai with the most beautiful women in the world. He said, I've tried drugs. I've tried every drug. I've tried every, I can walk into any shop, buy anything I want, do anything I want. He said, I always felt like there was something missing out of my life. Like there's something missing inside me. He said, walking into that mosque, I know it's God that's missing from my life.
SubhanAllah.
The thing is, every time like we might be out, I think Alf would message him and say, look, I'm reading Quran, I'm ready for my Shahada.
Yeah.
I was still like, take your time.
Take your time. Push him away from it.
Just read a bit more.
He was reading. Sure. I mean, he must have been reading 5 surahs a day. He was on it. Yeah, he was on it.
SubhanAllah, that's crazy.
So alhamdulillah, a few weeks later, how many weeks after Mum's Shahada did he take his Shahada?
I think about 4 weeks after.
4 weeks after.
Yeah,
he read Quran twice, completely, cover to cover. Then you brought...
Yeah, when he first read it, he said, I've read the Quran. Oh, can I go take my Shahada? No, read it again. Yeah, read it one more time.
No.
Yeah.
And then who came after that? Was it Dom?
I think Dom might have took his before Alf. I think it was. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
is
it was. I think I took my shahada, then Dom took his shahada.
Okay. Yeah.
Then Alf took his shahada. Then Lewis took his shahada.
Okay.
Then Charles took his shahada.
It's like
No,
7
Charles was
people.
after Alf though.
Yeah, Charles was after Alf.
Because
Yeah.
Alf had a little influence
Yeah, I
on
can't. Yeah, I can't remember the timeline, but
Yeah,
it was
so-
definitely Dom first.
Mum,
Mum.
Dom,
No, Dom, Mum,
Mum. Okay.
Dom, Mum, Lewis, Alfie,
Okay.
Jay,
Jack,
Jack,
Charles.
Charles.
Mashallah, 6. You passed the 5.
I've missed someone. It's bad if I have.
6 people, and that's in a space of what, a few months.
Yeah.
Allahu Akbar.
Lewis, you mentioned Lewis, yeah?
Yeah, Lewis was in there.
Okay.
Nuke, he's took his shahada now.
Your brother.
No, Nuke. Oh, my brother.
And your brother as well. Okay, mashallah.
That's like 8
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, Jake. Yeah, he took his shahada.
Jake, which one? The boxer?
No, light skinned boy I grew up with.
Okay.
Lewis would have been more his influence
Okay.
on that one. Yeah.
And in terms of a younger brother now, you said younger brother took Shahada or cup.
Yeah, so my younger brother, he kept asking me a lot of questions. My whole family asked me questions. My niece, I think my niece will take her child, inshallah. So, my older brother, Stephen. My older brother, Stephen, was from that racist generation.
Yeah.
But
It's like,
it's funny
delete that, man. Baiting him up like that, man.
yeah, no, he's all right.
Everyone changes, innit?
He's got mixed race grandchildren now. Do you know what I mean? So
Mashallah.
if he don't like it, he's got to deal with it. Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
But yeah, so he's
So what we do, Steven got to change his name.
Yeah,
He's not
Steve,
Steven.
yeah.
That's Abdullah now,
he's
man.
Abdul. Yeah. So he's from that generation, like me all toes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And he's like, he asked me a lot of questions.
Alhamdulillah.
His wife, proper Downham woman.
Okay.
All right, love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice lady.
Alhamdulillah.
She asked a lot of questions. My niece, their kid, she said to me the other day, she's looking to take shahada. She's got a boyfriend. He's Muslim.
Need to have a word with a Muslim brother, man. But go on.
Yeah. He's from Lewisham, lives in Deptford. Yeah, good kid.
It's giving da'wah probably, man.
Mashallah. Make excuses, I think.
Yeah.
It's giving da'wah, bro. It's giving da'wah.
So my brother took his shahada. He was at my mum's house, and then my mum said, "Oh, your brother wants to talk to you." He took his shahada a couple of weeks ago. Shocked. I literally speechless. Why didn't you tell me? Like, why didn't you say it? He said he didn't want the rest of the family to think that he'd only done it for the basis of me. Do you know what I mean? Which is also shaitan in your ear roll, because it's between you and God.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
sincerity is sincerity, but obviously at his stage, he probably doesn't know about that level of sincerity, and he's just talking. Remember when you become Muslim, it's not like overnight, like you just said, you become this person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after many years, you would understand, okay, well, actually, I should have just taken it 10 years ago.
100%.
But with him as well, he's still thinking prior to Islam, like, I'm not doing it because of my brother.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because of me. So I can't tell people, and that's all in his head, you know what I mean? He
But
doesn't need to
intention's
do
a good
that.
word you just brought up.
Yeah.
Intention, because it's like the intention is really important, because, like you said, it's a journey.
Of course.
So because when I first wanted to take shahada, it was like, I can't do it unless I'm 100%. But that's not true. It's if your intention's 100%,
Of course.
take your shahada.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? If you believe in God, you believe Muhammad is the last messenger, and you believe in all the messages, Jesus, Noah, Adam, Eve, take your shahada and then go on the journey. Do you know what I mean? That's a lot better way of doing it, in my opinion.
Even Dan, look, let's say us, we're still on the journey. Who's out there perfect? Allah's not asking for perfection. Allah knows we're going to slip. All He wants from us is come and return to me in repentance.
Yeah.
And seek my forgiveness. And that's it.
Literally.
Yeah, nobody out there is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving forward, because we're limited for time, you've been Muslim now how long?
Just over a year now.
Okay, how's life
Oh, no,
been?
just under a year. It's been about a year. Because this is my first Ramadan fasting as a Muslim. So last I wasn't Muslim. So it would be
Just
a year.
over a year.
Yeah, it'd be just around a year now.
Okay, so it was before Ramadan last year you became Muslim.
No, after Ramadan, because I fasted last year. I fasted as a non-Muslim.
Okay.
And then this
so
year I
just
fasted.
under a year.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So how's life changed for you, would you say, since Islam?
Yeah. So life now is I have a lot less stress now. Do you know what I mean? I've fully submitted myself, like in the way of, well, if I get a bit angry or a bit aggy before and feel like things are not going right, I'll just pray, and then it resets me. Do you know what I mean?
That's what you do now.
That's what I do
But
now.
prior, you'll be different ways of solving.
I just keep rolling with the stress. Do you know what I mean? So now my life is a lot happier. It's a lot more peaceful. Peace is a big word in Islam, because I do feel much more peaceful as a person.
Comes from it. Islam comes from salam, which is peace.
Yeah. Yes. And Salah itself, it gives me peace. Like, say, like, we're having a stressful day in the shop, me and Dol are in the shop, me and Dol will bicker a little bit. Like, I'll come and let's go and pray. Do you know what I mean?
Alhamdulillah.
It's that's our time. Let's go and pray. We'll go downstairs, we'll pray, we'll come back out, and we'll be play fighting again. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, a lot.
So having salah in your routine.
Yeah. Yes. It's having a routine as well.
Okay.
Gives you a much better routine. You know you got to wake up, the alarm's going to go off 3 o'clock, Fajr time. Do you know what I mean? You know you got your routine, you got your setup. It's improved in every single way in my life since becoming a
Just
Muslim.
one question, Dan. So, I don't know, prior, in your kind of like, before becoming a Muslim, but I see you as a lively, kind of like happy guy. Is that as a Muslim? That's one. And secondly, in a general way, because some people, sometimes they think, you know what, being a Muslim, he's going to be sad. I said, no, Islam is a happy, good religion.
Yeah.
So what's your take
It
on
makes
that?
me a lot more happier. I'm more happier now than I was before I was Muslim.
Yeah.
So like you said, I've always been that like kind of like a happy guy, like always smiling. But the peace that comes with it and the true happiness. I'll give you a story of when I was in Medina. So going to Medina, it's a different place, like you said, like from Mecca. The peace there is incredible. It's like when I first put my head down to pray in Medina, what the only way I can describe that is when I first held my child, my little daughter. For my first child, you know the happiness you get. It's like it brings a tear to your eye. But in the back of your head, you're thinking, is she healthy? Am I going to be a good parent? It's the happiness you get from that without not one of the doubts. So nothing but, so say like having a child for the first time,
Of course.
80% of it is pure joy, but without any of the doubts. So it's 100% happiness.
MashaAllah.
Certainty, conviction,
Exactly that.
all that kind of stuff.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, your journey seems very inspiring. May Allah bless it. May Allah increase your business, inshallah, and bring more of your family to Islam. That's what we ask for. So finally, obviously you've been a Muslim a year. Many youngsters watch this. So what kind of, you've given many advice obviously so far, but what kind of advice would you give to these youth that are watching this, even adults really, about your path, your Islam, that you think would benefit them?
I think that even if you've got the slightest bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Intrigued. If you're intrigued, the tiniest bit, just read. Just read. The answers are there in front of you. So if you're reading for yourself as a pious person, someone that's not coming with an ulterior motive of why they're reading it. Even me, I had an ulterior motive, but it was turned around.
Yeah, and there's been another story. I think there was a guy that I heard about. Was it German or whatever? Some mad country, but he was doing the same thing. He was looking for issues.
Yeah.
Yet he found Islam within that.
Yeah. Talk to people. Ask the questions because there's answers for it in the book. Do you know what I mean? So
just read.
Qur'an. Yeah, read Quran.
So Allah says in the Quran, and that was the verses, subhanAllah, as you said actually, that was the first verses revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. Read in the name of your Lord who is created. It's amazing. So Jazakumullah khair. I really appreciated the stories. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. So Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.